She still claims that she did nothing wrong at all. I asked her, why would you lie about going out with your sister when you were actually going to an ex-friends with benefits house? Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, can I go over a story titled, Girlfriend Stayed Out All Weekend and was, let's just say lots of bad things happened to her. Or so she claimed. And guys, this story is about a young guy, only 23 years old, who ends up kicking his girlfriend to the curb. I mean, like literally having all her stuff packed up and dumped at her mom's house after she got involved in a lot of dishonorable things. Cheated on him, left and right. But you're going to see, guys, there's more to this. You see, this guy in this story describes his girl as a 10. A 10 in the looks and body type department. And as many of you are aware, gals that clearly are 9s and 10s are not girlfriend material. Not in the 2020s. Not in the era of social media where they can get attention from dudes 24/7, 365, 500 times a day. Because the level of narcissism and entitlement and attitude is into the stratosphere. Hell, in today's world, a girl that's a 4 or 5 in the looks department gets attention from dudes online, let alone the 10s. And the amount of drama and sleepless nights these types of gals bring to guys, even guys that have their shit together, it's simply not worth it. Gals that are 9s and 10s are for hookups only, that's it. And if you think I'm wrong, try dating one. Believe me, I know. And this is how I learned these things. But anyhow, guys, you're going to see here what happens in the lies and BS she tells him and disrespect and all that. But again, lots of lessons in this story. So it starts off, says here, I, a 23-year-old male, met my girl, a 22-year-old female, at work and started dating soon afterwards. Smack. Never date a girl you work with. Ever. We lived together for about 6 months now. Smack. You're barely dating her and you let her move in, and I'm willing to bet you he pays all the bills, if not most of the bills. And she repays him in other ways. And I might add also that the only reason you move in with a girl is if you're going to marry her, nothing more. And we've been talking about marriage, family, etc. She is super hot, a 10 out of 10, and gets lots of attention from guys whenever we go out and even at work. It's nice that you have a girl in your arm that's good looking. We all want that. But there's a gal that's an 8, which is good looking enough for me, but can be cool and all that, versus a 9 or a 10. That 9 and 10, night and day difference, the attitude from an 8. She's very close with her 2 sisters, and they go out a couple times a month. Girls' nights, huh? Last Saturday, she had plans to go out with one of her sisters, and I kissed her goodbye and told her to have fun. She sent a couple of texts early on and then went dark. I woke up the next morning and noticed that she had not come home. I called and texted her, but did not get a reply until 11 o'clock on Sunday. Well, that's very disrespectful, and it shows through her actions she doesn't give a shit. Her reply was, why are you blowing up my phone? I replied, you didn't come home or even text last night. She then said that I just need time away from you. Oh, making him out to be the bad guy here. Gee, I wonder what she's doing to justify being a total a-hole to him who's just rightfully concerned. After that, she went dark again. I called her sister, who confirmed that she was at her house and just needed to give her space. I was confused and wasn't sure what I had done that caused her to need space. You didn't do anything. She obviously is an a-hole, because 9s and 10s usually are a-holes. 9s can be major a-holes. 10s take it to a whole new level. And 9s and 10s think they're God's gift to the world. But the irony is, guess what? Looks fade over time. And yet that attitude usually remains. I've known women that are in their 40s and 50s that clearly were 9s and 10s when they were younger, but they still think they are. I was a wreck all day Sunday, and when she never came home again. On Monday, she and I had worked the same shift, and I knew I would see her there. When I arrived at work, an older coworker pulled me aside and said, what the F is going on with you two? I didn't know what to say had she told him something. He then told me that she was already there and was pretty beat up, and people were already talking. He hasn't heard from the whole weekend, radio silence, and he gets there and she's apparently has bruises and everything on her. I rushed to her and saw that her face was badly bruised and swollen. I just grabbed her and held her tight. That probably wasn't the best way to go about. I asked her what happened, and she explained that she'd gone out to a pub with her sister and ended up back at a house that belonged to one of her sister's ex-boyfriends. They were all partying, and this guy's friend was getting aggressive towards her, and after her sister had passed out, this guy basically attacked her. How interesting. She then said he attempted to do awful things to her. When she resisted, he started hitting her and pulling her hair. She said that after that, it was over, and she woke up her sister, and they drove back to her house. Where is the police report here? She said she just needed time to process what had happened. I told her we need to go to the police right now, and she said that she just wanted to forget it. Minutes later, our supervisor called me to his office and basically asked me if I had done that to her. So automatically, the blame was on this guy, Mr. who was very concerned about her the whole weekend, and she just abandoned. And she's claiming already, this happened to me, and that's why I didn't talk to you all weekend. I need my space. And instantly, this guy wants to believe her because he's thinking, why would she lie? I explained as well as I could and sent us both home. They sent us both home that day. I was ready to go off this guy, but she said she only knew his first name and she didn't want me to do anything crazy. Now, a girl could be concerned about her boyfriend, but again, this happened and she wasn't going to go to the cops. Now, some don't, let's be honest here, but still, things don't add up. I said there was no way in hell that I would sit back and let some guy get away with being violently doing awful things to my girlfriend. I left the house in a rage, determined to find this guy and F him up and his entire life. I ended up at her sister's house wanting to know the address of the house that they had been to. Her sister just kept telling me that she wanted to stay out of it. That's when I felt that things were not adding up. After grilling her sister for over an hour, I finally got the truth. So her sister held strong for a whole hour with this bullshit story, as often I have found that they do until you just don't back down. It turns out that my girlfriend had gone over to an ex-friends with benefits house alone and had SCX with this guy. Now that explains why she went radio silent for 2 days and was getting an attitude with him and I need my space and blah, blah, blah. And why are you blowing up my phone? Making him out to be the bad guy here? Ex-friends with benefits. I guess this guy's girlfriend showed up at the house and caught them in bed together and beat the crap out of my girlfriend. And that is why she's a bruise and made up this whole story here. I couldn't believe that she had done this to me, let alone made up a story about having bad things happen to her. I went home and told her that I knew what happened, and she changed her story to, I just went over to visit an old friend and I'm drinking too much and I don't even remember anything. When the lips are moving, the lies come out. And this is why I say you don't get in relationships with 9s or 10s. She still claims that she did nothing wrong at all. I asked her, why would you go lie about going out with your sister when you were actually going to an ex-friends with benefits house? Why would you make this up? Why would you make up this lie? Now it seems I'm trying to control her, and she doesn't need me driving around interrogating her sister. So still, she's making this guy out to be the bad guy here. No accountability. Again, this is what this guy, the trade-off he gets. If he was with a 7 or an 8 in the looks department, he wouldn't be getting this shit, or this degree of shit. Yeah, 7, 8s can get bullshit, but not like a 9 or a 10. All this because she's a hot piece of ass. But honestly, if he wanted to, he could rent a piece of ass for an hour once or twice a month and be equally satisfied. Save himself a lot of money in drama. Now is the update. He says, well, it's finally over. I went to meet with my supervisor at 4 o'clock and sat in his office and explained what happened, and even showed him our texts from that night and told him about how I was worried that I would be accused of doing those things to her. I even offered to let him hear the recording of her sister. He said he believed me the whole time and that he had another employee come to him, and she said that when she asked my girlfriend if everything was okay between us, she just said that I'm not sure if I'm going to stay with him, insinuating that I had something to do with it. And of course, people's natural reaction is to blame this guy. So as I was sitting in his office, my girlfriend burst into the room and wanted to know why she wasn't in the meeting. He told her to get out, and she started talking shit to him, saying, you can't have a meeting about my body. And it's nobody's business I was, bad things happen. She kept getting louder and louder until he told her to leave and take the rest of the week off. Again, the level of entitlement and attitude from the 10s, they're God's gift to the world. Everybody should stop what they're doing and bow down and kiss their ass, and they run the show. Then I called my parents and they met me at my house. She's already there, and gave her an eviction notice that my mom printed off the internet. I told her I wanted her out tonight and that we were done. Good for you, brother. And I hope you learned your lesson about those 10s. She started crying. Of course. Hobag Handbook, Chapter 5. And I even told my mom that she had bad things happen that night, and she doesn't remember anything after having one drink. Sure. Again, lies after... She's like a junkie. Just lies, 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 lies. I told her she was full of crap and that she told her sister the real story. The one where she lied to me and that she could go on a date with the old friends with benefits and have sex. And it's just how it played out that night. She even told my parents that she lied about going out with her sister because I was so insecure that she couldn't even have a male friend. Well, there's a reason this guy obviously didn't want her to have male friends. Look how she handles things. I said, yeah, not the ones you hook up with. She did actually agree to move out right then and there. My dad went to Home Depot and bought new deadbolt locks and a bunch of big containers for her to put all her crap in, and even drove them to her mother's house. So I guess it is over. I'm not sure if we'll even work together anymore. Last week I was online researching engagement rings, and tonight I'm officially single. 2020 has been a really shitty year. Well, let's look at it like this. And by the way, this is an older article that was sent to me from Joseph. Shout out to Joseph. Look at it like this. He dodged a big one. He was thinking about marrying her, and I wasn't with her that long. He could have married her, and we all know what his life would be like, but she'd obviously found herself her nice guy. She had her nice guy because she was at the stage where she's probably wanting to be married, have the wedding ceremony, all that. He could pay the bills, and I guarantee he was paying all the bills living together, but she could still go off and have the hook up with her Chatter Tyrone friends with benefits, and there you go. And because she's a 10, in her opinion, she's the queen. She can do whatever she wants. And that would have been his life. So the silver lining is he dodged a big one because he could have been married to her. And I might add, spent a whole bunch of money on a stupid-ass engagement ring. And you know darn well he would have spent a ton of money on that ring just to rope her in to make sure that she was all his. So, gentlemen in the future, you dating relationship guys, 9s and 10s are friends with benefits and hookups. They are rentals. They're not long-term. It's not going to work, okay? You want a long-term girl, stick with the 7s and 8s. Some people may disagree with me. That's your business. But these stories prove it time and time again. And my own personal experience has shown this. And again, in the era of social media, and where women can get attention all the time, when you get the 4s and the 5s behaving in a way the way they do, it's a whole new level. The higher the number goes up. And those 10s, God almighty. So this guy learned his lesson, and I'm glad he booted her out. End of story there. But it could have been way worse. Think about that. What if the cops got involved and arrested him and all that? It could have been he lost his job. Way freaking worse. And I do hope that, he no longer works with her and moves on. All right, guys, that was it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story like to share, definitely email it to me. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will when I get the chance. I get lots and lots of stories, whether they're really long ones, guys, or short ones. All are useful for this channel and my new channel, SSM Clips. If you like the shorter stories, are 5 to 7 minutes long, definitely subscribe there. The channel's really starting to grow and take off. Really pleased to see that, so definitely check it out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.